everyone! In this video you are in for a special treat. On my current visit to Israel just a few weeks ago, the Jewish people in Israel and all around the world have celebrated the festival of Purim, which is an exciting happy holiday commemorating the savings of the Jews from the ancient and very first Persian Empire. What you are about to see here is a close inside look into this entertaining festival as it's being celebrated at one of the biggest orthodox Jewish cities in the world, and I'll bring you the fascinating story behind it too. As always, if you would like to see more travel tips and about traveling around the world and seeing different cultures, this is your place to be. Now, if you are new here, please support me and subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification button. Likewise, please leave a like and comment in the comment section so you'll become part of this community and enjoy more informative videos just like this. With that said, let's peace out and go! Hello and welcome back, my name is Peace. Purim is one of the most entertaining Jewish holidays commemorating the time when the Jewish people living in Persia were saved from extermination by the courage of a young woman called Esther and her uncle Mordecai. The basic customs of this holiday are public reading in the synagogue of the Megillah, which is the scroll or book of Esther, getting dressed in costumes similar as you would know from Halloween, exchanging gifts of foods and drinks, drinking lots of wine and getting drunk, donating charity to the poor and having celebratory meals. Purim has a fascinating and heroic story behind it as recounted in the book of Esther. But before I take you into this thrilling story, let's go out to the streets of one of the biggest Orthodox Jewish cities in Israel and show you how they celebrate the festival of Purim as you have never seen before. I am right now in Israel at one of the biggest Jewish Orthodox cities in the world, and you are in for a cultural trip like you have never seen before. Tonight is a beautiful festival that the Jewish people are celebrating. It's called Purim, and it's commemorating the saving of the Jews back in time from the Empire of Persia. This is a festival going back to the 5th century BC, when the Jews were saved from Haman, who was a Persian official ranking minister.
Happy Purim!
Happy Purim!
Happy Purim!
Why are you celebrating tonight?
Bishal, you know, this is Chacham Chanukah, you know?
Tonight is Purim.
It's Purim.
What is Purim?
Aman ben Amdat Agagi, he wants
To kill all the Jewish.
all the Jewish.
And the God help the Jewish and here and the Paras. And the Shmona.
by Esther and Mordecai.
Yeah.
And
together, Aman הרשע.
רצה להשמיד
ולהרוג את כל היהודים ביום אחד.
והשם עשה נס עם אסתר המלכה, שהיא עם כל הקטע עם ושתי, שהיא לא רצתה לבוא למלך, ואז הרגו את ושתי, ואז המלך חיפש מלכה חדשה, ואז אסתר עלתה, ועל ידי זה ניצלו כל היהודים מהגזרה הזאת. הכל התהפך לטובה.
יש עניין שהכל נתהפך לטובה.
זה הסוד של פורים.
So back, as I said, this was back in the 5th century BC, when the Jews were saved from Haman, who was a high and official ranking minister in Persia, who wanted to kill all the Jews. And it's a beautiful story which they read out from the book of Esther, which is a parchment they still have today, a scroll of Esther it's called, and they read it in the synagogues every year on the night of Purim and at the day of Purim. And I'm going to take you in now to a synagogue to see how they read the story of Purim, and then I'll elaborate more about it.
אחשוורוש ישנוי עם אחד מפוזר ופוירות בין העמים בכל מדינויס מלכותך ודוסיהם שוינויס מכל עם ואז דוסי המלך אינם מויסים ולמלך אין שויבל להניחם אם על המלך טויב יכוסב לאבדום ועשרת אלופים כיכר כסף אשכול על ידי אויסי המלכה להוביל גנזי המלך ויוסר המלך אסתבעתוי מעל ידוי ויתנה להמון ויאמר המלך להמון
Okay, now allow me to give you a summary of the fascinating story of Purim from the book of Esther. King Ahasuerus, or Ahashverosh as they call him in Hebrew, was a king who ruled back in time in the 5th century BCE over 127 countries. He ruled from India to Ethiopia, and he was very rich and powerful king. He throws a huge party. After lots of drinking, he calls for Vashti, his queen, to appear in a royal crown in front of him. She refuses, and as instructed by his advisors, he exiles her for fear that she will set a bad example for other women. He then holds a beauty pageant to find a new wife, and Esther, who was a Jewish orphan looked after by her uncle Mordecai, was presented and won. She doesn't admit to the king that she is Jewish. Mordecai goes to the palace every day to check how she is. While there, he overhears Bigtan and Teresh, two servants of the king, plotting to overthrow the king. He tells Esther, who reports back to the king. These two were hanged. The king promotes Haman as the great minister and everyone has to bow to him. Mordecai refuses, angering Haman. Haman plots to kill all the Jews and gets the king to agree to it because they are different and have different laws. Lots are drawn and the date is set to kill all the Jews. Mordecai and the Jews mourn at the news. Esther sends a message to Mordecai to find out why he is mourning. Mordecai sends back a message to her and tells her that maybe this is the reason why she is queen, to save her people. Esther then calls for all the Jews to fast for 3 days and pray to God while she is doing so herself. After this, she invites the king and Haman to a banquet. After this banquet, she invites them to another one the next day. Haman spots Mordecai, who still won't bow to him, which makes him angrier. Meanwhile, his wife suggests he builds a gallows to hang Mordecai from. King Ahasuerus can't sleep, so he reads his chronicles. Here he finds out that Mordecai saved him with no reward. So when Haman approaches the king to discuss hanging Mordecai, the king asks how Haman would honor the man who truly pleases the king. Haman assumes this is about him, so he instructs the king to dress the man as a king and get an official to parade him down the streets on a horseback, saying that the king wants to honor him. And so Haman is sent to do exactly that to Mordecai. Haman's wife and his advisors predict that Haman will fall before Mordecai. Haman then goes to Esther's banquet and Ahasuerus asks Esther what she wants. She asks for her people's life and herself, revealing a background. King Ahasuerus asks who has threatened her, and she points to Haman. Haman begs for forgiveness, but the king thinks he is trying to violate her and puts him to death on the gallows that he built for Mordecai. Ahasuerus gives his signet ring to Mordecai, who writes into law to be sent across the empire. The Jews now have permission to kill anyone who threatens them with violence on the day that they were supposed to be killed. The Jews rejoice and feast. Jews were now feared, and in the city of Shushan 500 non-Jews were killed and Haman's 10 sons were hanged too. Queen Esther now asks for a second day for the Jews to kill their enemies, which is granted, defeated, resulting in another 300 deaths. Across the empire, 75,000 were killed, and there were celebrations and feasts going on all over the country. Mordecai instructs the Jews that they must celebrate, feast, and give gifts to each other and the poor, and writes the entire story in a book so it should be remembered for generations. And this is the book of Esther, called the Megillah, or the Scroll of Esther, which is still being read to this day and celebrated each year on the month of Adar in the Jewish calendar, which is the end of February. And there you go, you got the story of Purim in just under a few minutes. Alright, so this sums up this video, and if you liked it, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe and press the bell notification button so you'll be notified for new upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Peace.